in our vehicle, but the bolts are basically rusted on, and we can't get anyways, we can't get the screws off and stuff like that. It's what can I say? It's just one of those things. So hopefully we have a friend coming tomorrow and going to give us a hand and get things changed and stuff. So it's a little bit of a shit show. And Steve is still really sick. I'm still sick, just coming off of it, but I'm plugging along. Here I go. And I had to come on today because it is such a crazy astrological day. That's why I'm here. There is just so much happening, as above, so below. So the reflections of how the planets are moving and how the planets are conversing with one another is playing out here upon our Earth walk. And we're seeing Mars going back into Cancer at 29 degrees. Now, that's a critical degree, and Cancer is the fourth house, and the fourth house has to do with home and family and support. And here comes this warrior back into the fourth house. He doesn't want to be back in the fourth house. This is chaotic. This brings in chaos. This brings in agitation and frustration. And what do we see? We're going to be seeing it within the world. 29 degrees is the critical degree. So we have this animosity that's going to be rising up. So we really not only have to watch within our own selves, how this is going to trigger us. How do we feel supportive? How do we feel like we are in alignment with our own selves? It's very important. How are you, when something comes, how are you confronting it, right? Are you confronting it with love? Or are you're confronting it, being pissy? I've been pissy. I'm gonna say I've been really pissy. I've been the one that's like, fuck it, you're not doing nothing, and not taking into consideration other things or other factors. And this is where it's like you could be speeding along. I mean, there's so many, speeding along the highway, and there's a whiteout, and you think you know what's around the corner, and you don't know what's around the corner. So this is like very important to really take some time. We have 5 days, and the nodes are going to be changing signs as well. And so this is, what is the plan? Things are moving. We also, where Mars, Mercury's in a square to Neptune. It's like confusion, right? And trying to figure shit out, but you're not getting the full answers. You're thinking you're getting the full answers. It looks like you're getting the full answers, but you're not. Everything is still blurred. And this is where a lot of big shifts are coming. And this is going to be bringing in a lot of extreme emotional energies. And I just wanted to come out before I run out the door this morning to just let people know the stillness, the breathing, the grounding is so important. I forgot that yesterday. I was so frustrated yesterday. And just, with everything, and plus not feeling well did not help. So we got to watch our escaping. What is going on with us? Where are you escaping? Where are you, trying not, where you getting lost in it all, right? So don't get lost. Remember, you got to come back to that stillness, that grounding. This is, you're going to hear me say this for the rest of the year. Stillness, groundness, breathing. That is going to be the trio of the year that you're going to have to be doing, and constantly going back to it, because it is going to be repetitive because of the extreme natures of a lot of the planets. A lot of the planets, all of the planets is here. I mean, we have, as we go on throughout the year, we have Uranus is going into Gemini, hasn't been there in 84 years. Neptune is going into Aries. Well, it's been in Pisces for the last 16 years or so. So there's these transformation and changes that are coming in, and these disruptions that are coming in, that are bringing us to a point where, in an evolutionary change of saying, which way do we want to go? What is that road that we are wanting to get to? And with this square, squares are very rough and they're tough and they're hard. And the square with Neptune, and Neptune can bring in the delusions and say, hey, don't worry about it, it's okay, you know what's around the next corner, go ahead, speed up. But inside you're saying, no, I need to take my time, or I need to pull over for a bit, I need to do some breath work. So watch how, things are being played up. You can get very caught up into the moment right now. And I know there's a lot of extremes out there. And I know I've had a few people say, oh, well, look at Trudeau's going to resign today. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. That's all I got to say is we'll see. We have Congress going back in today, I think, in the United States. Actually, our parliament's not back to the 27th of January, if I'm not mistaken. So there's so much happening that's going on. And it does come down to, is the Governor General going to say anything? So, there's this where, you can look at it like Mars back in Cancer is like, well, what are we going to do? It's back in the encampment, right? It's back where the warrior is like, okay, well, I'm back here. What am I supposed to be doing? Like pacing. It's back in the place where he doesn't want to be. Like he wants to be out, marching. He wants to be out, in the fields. He wants to be out doing something, right? Being at home is not home for Mars. It's frustrating. And Venus, when she's coming in and she's, coming up to, Saturn and that, and it's all about relationships, and she wants all this snuggliness and this, ooh, I want to have all this beautiful, and it's very illusionary. So there's a lot of illusions that are coming out there, right? So a lot of things that are coming out. So remember, when a lot of energies, especially coming in Pisces, can be very illusional. That's the 12th house. Things can get lost. Information can get lost or can get misinterpreted. So we really have to watch, what is, are we being fooled? Is something being shrouded that we can't see at this time? So it's, this is it's only January 6th, and so far this year is coming in with a real fucking bang, right? So don't get lost. Really, don't get lost in this. And how we deal with our safety and our security is very important. How we deal with our personal lives at this time is very important. So don't get hung up on a lot of illusionary energies that are coming in and that are going to sway us and get us all over the map and then throw us off center. So it's so important that, okay, it might be a rough day today, it might be a little bit bumpy today, but this is a time that we really got to gather our sources, gather our spirit, gather our connection with our divine, and come within the Holy Spirit and ask for inner peace and a miracle, and allowing ourselves to embrace love instead of embracing the chaos and the craziness that is going to be coming forth. This week is going to be it's going to be one of the bumpy weeks of the year. It's it's one of those times of, even with the moon in Aries, and he's making aspects over to Mars. I mean, they would love to, the moon would love to be, oh, I want to go home. I like to be at home. I want to be there because I can shine. I could do my thing. I could sleep. This is great. I love my security. Mars is like, I want to be in Aries. I want to get going. I want that fire. I want that spark, and excuse me, being very difficult that you can't do that, right? So again, there's that frustration, that pull that you might be feeling today. Take a look at your own chart, right? See where your fourth house is, right? Where's your Cancer house, and then also take a look, where's your Piscean house, right? And take a look. So what does that mean? So for me, Pisces is my 10th house. So what is my 10th house? Oh, it's all about my dharma. It's all about my work and how do I work. So a lot of pressure at work, a lot of things happening at work. So there's, so there's things that might be illusional, and you get all hyped up about things, and that's the thing, is like, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I can see that happening. There's a lot of things going on at work right now, because our doors will be closing, I think, on the 23rd of February or something. My contract's up. So this is where it's like, okay, or the 26th, my contract's up. I don't know. It's up somewhere then. But this is where it's like, okay, you know what? Don't get caught up in all the hype. Things, it's just allow for things to unfold, and just breathe. Don't get into the extreme emotional energy of this of stuff, right? And take a look at, my first house is Cancer, right? So it's like, okay, take a look at I'm coming into the safety and security. And the Cancer first house is ruled by Aries. It's the I am. How am I being forceful? I'm projecting this, how am I putting this projection out into the world? And this is where it's like, no, I got to come back into my stillness. I'm not going to project the negativity. I'm not going to project, the illness or the strife or whatever. This is where I got to come back into the stillness and the love and the peace within my own self, so that I can breathe and not go chaotic or crazy, right? So take care out there, everyone. Don't get, if you watch how the anger comes to the top and boils up, and you know don't get too hyped up on a lot of the things that are coming in over the news, right? Don't get hyped up on it. Just say, okay, it is what it is. Because I look at it this way, just on a side note, if, let's say, he does step down today, so what does that mean? That means that we have Ditzy Girl as our prime minister. And doesn't mean that there's going to be a non-confidence vote either. So, I mean, there's a lot there. That's, a lot of underlying situations that are unfolding. And, will there be an election before? I don't feel it. I know there's going to be an election this year. I know there's going to be a change of the guard this year, but it's not going to be an easy one. It's going to be, it's not going to be one that's going to come very easily. So this is where it's like, okay, let's just breathe through it. We're at critical degrees right now. Everything's at the ends of signs. So this is like, things are, spiking up, and it's bringing up a lot with Mars going back into Cancer and in opposition to Capricorn. This is bringing up a lot of old Capricorn shit that we were going through for the last 16 years, and government, and all of the lies and everything that comes in it. We're going to hear a lot to do with hospitals. We're going to hear a lot to do with medical problems, wait times for medical, wait times for hospitals, and things like that. All of that's going to be coming up a lot in the news. You're going to hear a lot about it. So, about wait times. And so all of this, especially with Mars being in an opposition to Capricorn, it's going to be digging up everything that that was supposed to be dealt with, or has not been dealt with, or has been hidden for the last 16 years. So a lot of that's going to be coming up to the surface as well. And things to do with schooling, education, pricing of schooling, lack of teachers, and all of the craziness that we've been worried about, or that we know about, is bubbling to the surface right now. And it's going to be like, oh, okay, we're going to be either hearing about it, seeing about it, someone's going to talk about it around us, that's involved in something along that line. And it's like, okay, all right, that means that there's change happening. So the chaos and the craziness that happens means that there's change that's happening. That means that through the chaos, something else comes. We have to get into the discomfort, and getting into the discomfort allows us to come into the change. Crazy. Anyways, I'm sending you guys out so much love. If you want my journals, I have 2 journals. I have a journal guidebook for all the transits and that are coming out for 2025. And I have my lunar journal that I've done also for 2025. If you're interested, they're $20 for the combo. They're a PDF. Let me know and I can send them to you. All right. May Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all you say and all you be and all you do. I got to go catch a bus. God bless. Bye-bye.